This is a giant cactus. Inside it's stout and lean. It can store up to 5,000 liters of water. It's called the Colossus column. It is the tallest plant in this desert. Can grow to more than 20 meters high. At the same time, it is also the longest-lived plant in this desert. Lifespan can reach 200 years. To survive in an arid desert, its leaves have degenerated into spikes. The root of each thorn is connected, a base that can then absorb moisture. Every time the rain comes, these 20-centimeter-long spikes will transfer rainwater to the water-absorbing base. This rain, it will eventually be stored in the giant golden pole of the giant's column. The folds on the surface of the giant column can vary with the amount of water stored, expansion, deformation. When the rain comes, the folds will open up. Let more rainwater be stored in the golden pole. Just one rain. A single giant bead can store thousands of liters of water. When the desert is in drought, he survives on the water stored in the lean. Even if it doesn't rain again for the next year, he can also survive tenaciously. But in a desert where water is precious, store so much water, often targeted by thieves, there is a strange plant seed, spread through bird droppings. This is the seed of a parasitic plant. It's called demi-parasitism. Its goal, it is the water stored in the golden pole by the giant. After gaining a foothold on the spikes of memory, first a few liters of firewood will start to germinate quickly. His seed will extend a tentacle, explore the surface of the giant column. But most seeds died too far from the surface of the Colossus. A single seed is more fortunate. It touched the surface of the bead. He uses the suction cup at the end of the tentacle, absorb to the surface of the giant column, and wait for the night to fall. At night, the giant column will open the stomata to breathe. They suck up carbon dioxide, they expel oxygen. This is also the perfect time to invade the Colossus column. He used the breathing hole opened by the giant pillar, invade into the lean interior of the Colossus column. His organization will grow and spread inside the giant column, absorb water and nutrients from the giant column to survive. After a year of lurking, he will break through the surface of the Colossus column, bloom bright flowers. All kinds of insects and birds come back to dilute the nectar. Parasitic for fresh hairpins at the same time. Complete the grant. Powder. Fresh hairpin parasites that have completed pollination. Life will soon come to an end. He will bear hundreds of white fruits, attracting birds to feed. Then his seeds will be spread by birds to other giant columns. Parasitized giant column. It also requires the pollination of insects and birds, and spreading the seeds. Gila woodpecker. You can cut holes in the branches of giant pillars to see the nest. This hollow inner wall, it heals within 6 months. Create a dry space, and will not affect the survival of the giant column. On a giant pillar, there may be several such voids. The inhabitants all survive and multiply on the giant column, helpful creatures. They will bloom in the Colossus column, come to collect honey and pollinate. When the fruit is ripe, violence erupts. These birds that inhabit the giant's columns easily eat the pulp with seeds. Eventually indigestible seeds. It can be spread over several kilometers by various bird species. Giants rule the hot desert, provides a shady haven for a variety of creatures, but also for its own descendants. It creates convenience. But when they're young, they're vulnerable. If the seeds are in a shady place, it's starting to sprout. The probability of death due to heat and drought is very high. In this desert, there is still a developed root system and very drought-tolerant trees. pigeon tree. Its trunks and branches can help giants. The seedlings of the pillars are roasted from the scorching sun. And the tree has a well-developed root system. While absorbing water, it can also give the root system of the surrounding giant column seedlings share some of the water. Therefore, Mutua tree is also known as the nanny tree, giant pillar seedlings growing around it. The probability of survival will be greatly improved. The babysitter tree not only covers the seedlings of the giant bead, scorching sun, it also protects him from all kinds of extreme weather. The temperature here at night, it could drop to minus 10 degrees Celsius. Sometimes it even snows. If the water in the giant pillar seedlings freezes, we'll face death. However, the outstretched branches of the nanny tree, he can block the wind and snow around the giant pillar, help the giant pillar seedlings survive. When the height of the giant column exceeds that of the babysitter tree, you don't need the babysitter tree anymore. They are already very strong, able to face various harsh living environments alone. The giants lived in the rains, stored moisture, will pass through the root system, shared with the babysitter book who sheltered herself. This is interdependent. It takes millions of years to evolve. But if this delicate balance is disrupted, these species will face an existential crisis. Here is the world. Take you to explore the unknown, feel the wonder of all things. Thank you for your attention.